Hi, I'm Nate, and this is Under the Radar, where we reveal off-camera observations of authentic athletes. Today, we'll look at the story of Trabuco Hills senior and San Diego State University commit Skylar Watts. Both a very silly and very meaningful episode, we dive into Skylar's life and experiences as a running content creator on TikTok. And both in actually making content, the experience making content, and her mindset on both content creation and running, and how she executes both. There's a pretty embarrassing segment in the middle where I try to put myself in the shoes of her target audience, which means trying to understand girly things like pre-race glam, Brandy Melville, which is not quite my area of expertise, but nonetheless, it's a lot of fun. So if you're looking for a good balance between insightful conversation about life and about running and about all this other stuff, and a good laugh, this episode is for you. So, who actually inspired you to start running?
I don't think anybody really inspired me to run. I think that it's just always been something like at recess and things like that. Like, it's just always been something that I've loved to do. And I feel like even though I'm not the best runner that there is, I do feel like my passion for it has really just always been a huge part of me. Whether that's been running in soccer, running in softball, like I've always just loved running.
What do you love so much about running?
I feel like running is just like, it's the only sport where everything really is on you. And, you can make, like every other sport that I've played, you've had and of course cross country is a team sport, but I feel like running is just so individual and it really does just fall on you. And like, just that connection that you have to yourself and that what you put in, I do feel like is what you get out is just really like special in a sport. And then I just feel like it's like when you're on that line between like you're pushing yourself to your max, but then like when you hit that max, all of a sudden you're like, wait, like I can go further than this. I can run faster than this. Like, it's just always pushing for that next step, which is like, I just really enjoy that part. And just surprising yourself is always cool.
Yeah, surprising yourself. I think it's like this. It's the same thing because like when I get pushed, when I make my content, it's like I work at this track club called Top Self. It's a Christian track club in Minnesota, and I see like, look, it's like the 400-meter state champions there. It's just crazy to see like how when you're surrounded by this group of people that push you, um, they push you to surprise yourself. Adding on to that, you mentioned in a post that like you weren't too happy with how you did that year. So this was your junior year cross country.
Yeah.
But you still mentioned in the post that you wanted to give it all up to give it all you have to your team. So what's that tension like, wanting to do well individually, but not doing as well as you want, but still knowing that you have to do something for the team?
So that year was really tough mentally and physically, but it definitely taught me a lot. And struggling that way where I just like, it felt like I was working so hard, but then I just was not performing. But with my teammates, they all like, that team was cracked. Like we were all so like, they were all so talented. We had grown so close together. We had made it our goal since my sophomore year that we wanted to get to NXN. We wanted to win state. And I feel like each day we did just show up for each other. And, if somebody had a rough workout, it was like, okay, we'll pick them up, help them get back into it and not to doubt themselves and things like that. And while it was hard to not be performing at, I guess, what I expected for myself that year, it was still like, okay, well, my teammates are just asking me to give what I can. They are asking me to give 100%, just like I'm asking them to give 100%. And as long as I honestly know that I am giving everything that I have, I know that they're not going to be upset with me, so I shouldn't be upset with myself. But that year was just tough, man. Like that was like just really hard I don't even know what was going on, but it was just like, I'm so grateful that was the year that I had that particular team, just because our bond and our chemistry was just like crazy. Like when people look at a girls team, right? You expect a lot of drama, you expect a lot of conflicts, but like that just was not it. Like we were all like ready to like just throw it out for each other. You know what I mean?
So how did the rest of your that season go for you?
So NXM was just a blast, and I didn't know none of us knew what to expect except for Holly. And it was just honestly like the best experience. Just kind of like getting to like go through the hotel, go to the Nike campus and like all those things. And then also the girls that qualified individually that year were like some of my closer friends. So that was a ton of fun to hang out with them. But honestly, NXN was just like a final party that season, I guess. The course was just, that race was a party. So that's kind of how I looked at it that year. But
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool. All right. So now we'll get into some of the content stuff here.
Okay.
So I think what's cool about content is like you're kind of doing stuff that's never been done before. Because it's like I mean, that's just me overthinking it. But it's like you're kind of putting yourself out there in a way that people don't do. Because it's like, yeah, you could argue there's like other people like Trent Sandler, like, oh, he's made a running vlog. It's like great. But you're not Trent Sandler. You're Skylar Watts. You're your own person. So like how do you personally like innovate in the content world and do your kind of your own like thing, I guess?
I am inspired by like different creators and how
Yeah,
of course, how they do their running vlogs, how they set them up, things like that. And then I also do kind of just try and hit like a range of things that I feel like pertain to most girl distance runners, whether that's talking about nutrition, managing stress, things like that. And then also just trying to like keep it light and funny with like the different cringy posts and stuff like that. But I'll just get like some ideas that I'll hear a sound on TikTok and I'll just think about it for a little bit and I'll just like, that would be kind of funny.
Yeah, you'll just kind of go off the first gut reaction while still making it marketable.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem sometimes.
That's the problem. Yeah.
But yeah.
So I mean, not quite your target audience, but it's okay. No. I'll try to ask a question anyway. Okay. Especially as a high school girl, like I think you need to be very like strong in your identity because I feel like you guys are very susceptible to like other people on the outside, judging you or, saying things behind your back. How do you kind of just,
I feel like that's something that I've really had to work on in myself, is just not really caring too much about what people are going to say or think about me, because I feel like everybody's always judging each other, whether that's me judging somebody else or them judging me. And I feel like if we were to both eliminate the judgment going both ways, and then adding on to my faith, I feel like what I'm trying to say is that when I stopped putting so much judgment on others, because that's what I was obviously reading in my Bible, is like, those kinds of things. And I honestly started feeling a lot less that other people were judging me because I wasn't judging other people. So that's something that has kind of worked for me, is just not really caring about what other people are doing. So then I feel like people don't really care about what I'm doing either. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what has worked. So
you and I don't know how other people think of our content, which is kind of scary sometimes, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know some people definitely make fun of it and say that it's corny and stuff like that, which that's okay. I call other content corny too. So,
I think my content's super corny, but it's like you can't control what other people think of you. So it's like
exactly. Yeah.
It's like
and I feel like the more that you do just put yourself out there and you just kind of click post, I feel like the less you feel it. So that's kind of been nice too.
Have there been struggles in the past?
Like, obviously it's like I have kind of like imposter syndrome a little bit about like, oh, well, why are you posting, like acting like you know something about running? Like you're not running these insane times. You're not top of the state,
Yes. Okay.
Things like that. But then I also remember that running is kind of relative to anybody, and that Like if I can inspire somebody who maybe isn't as fast as me, and then then that's worth it to me, you know? Because really everybody has to start somewhere, and I feel like no matter there's always going to be a bigger fish.
Which is
Yeah.
honestly an incredible mindset to have. Is how old are you? 18, 17?
Yeah.
So it's like
18.
So it's like, gosh, I always look at y'all high schoolers and I'm like, how are you so, so when I just, be so I'm getting sappy early. So branching off of that, like, how do you separate your worth as a person from your amount of likes or follows, or even like the amount of how fast you run?
It's easier to separate from TikTok and that kind of thing because that is just something I enjoy. And running is something I enjoy too, but that has taken a process of figuring out that, okay, I am not just a sport. And while running does feel like the biggest part of my life right now, and it's, the most important thing in my life right now, it's just learning to have that perspective of other things do matter. And running can be a priority, but that doesn't mean that it's your only priority. So that has taken time, is just kind of maturing out of that mindset of just having to perform and things like that. And it's just that whole shifting over to I get to perform, I get to push myself, I get to do this. And then that just removes that weight of just, it removes a lot of your self-doubt. It removes just so many negative aspects of the sport from your back just by being I get to go out here and I get to run.
How about authenticity? How do you navigate being authentic and I think you have a really good handle of this, but how do you remind yourself that I'm not trying to portray myself as this cool hip runner, and rather I want to portray myself as this normal, authentic, genuine person who struggles with stuff. Yeah.
That's so content. I kind of have to balance it. So I'll have things where I'll post where it's very idealistic. It's, it looks super perfect, that kind of thing. But then I'll also
California.
Yeah. But then I also try and mix in just different things, talking about serious problems that girls do experience when they're running. I made a video about how just because you hit a wall your junior year, senior year, and everybody kind of tells you it's a very common thing that they tell young girls. Once you, just once you hit that developmental period, you're done. You're never going to be great again. And it's you don't have to listen to that. And so many girls hear that message and they don't have somebody telling them that it's not true, and that it can happen, of course, but at the end of the day, you're in charge of that. I feel like you're in charge of whether you hit that wall and you just stay there or you keep on pushing and moving. And that process is difficult.
So how do you navigate that tension, I guess, of it's like preaching
to the choir? Well, I feel like it's just easier, honestly, because if you come out and you share what you're going through, kind of knowing that other people are going through it too and other girls are experiencing it too, it's just, you kind of get a deeper connection to the community that you are talking to. And I feel like then everybody just feels more comfortable, oh yeah, I'm experiencing that too. It sucks. And then you kind of just, it's almost like a just mutual thing where you're okay, we're both going through it. Everything's going to be okay. Somebody else is in this with me. I'm talking to this other person who's talked about it too, but they're getting through it. So maybe I can get through it too. It's just this mutual relationship that just kind of pushes everybody forward, I think.
So what would you say are your goals for making content in general?
I feel like it's just kind of it's honestly just really fun to be able to connect with so many different runners kind of all over, because it's I've met different girls at NXN who had seen my content, and it's kind of fun to be hey, we both make content. I don't, the Garmer twins.
Oh yeah.
And then Claire Guberson. Yeah. Brenna George, who was on here.
I had her on the pod. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. So all of these girls I've met and I've talked to on TikTok. I've talked to them about the TikTok, whatever. And it's just so fun to be able to just have that connection with all these other girls, because I never had that in soccer. And running. Yeah. So running is this really just great community of so many nice girls, which is so much fun. And then like obviously like we were kind of talking about earlier, it's just kind of that platform where you can kind of make some funny, cringy videos, but then also commiserate and share, with other girls who, love running and maybe they're struggling or maybe they just want to watch your running vlog. So that's always fun.
I think the thing I like most about your content is that it's really balanced. It appeals to many different types of people. Whereas it's like you're showing, my cool life in California and I'm running on the beach and doing all these things you can't do in Minnesota. And then except for Lake Superior. And then you also show like the serious side of like, imposter syndrome, faith, purpose. Like it's like, wow, there's some deep stuff. And, I can really like look at the person who's running and I can say, and, in California I can say, she's living a great life, but it doesn't tell the, like, what I post, what's online doesn't tell the full story. And there's some other layers beneath it.
Yeah.
I think you do a good job of like really looking at the whole person.
I think part of that is I would never want somebody to watch my TikTok and, then meet me in person and I'm a completely different person. Like I want my TikTok to align with who I am because I feel like there are plenty of other people on the app. Like you don't need to copy them. Like you don't be your own person on the app.
Your own person. It's crazy when like you see people in person and they don't align with the person that they're projecting online. And you're a little bit confused by that. You're like, oh, that's I think my first reaction is like, oh, like you're not the same. Then my second reaction is, how do you maintain that?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so that's something like I want it to be, it's the same with why I changed my content from soccer to running. I didn't worry about, oh, I'm going to lose followers. I'm going to lose my viewers because I was like, well, that's not me anymore. I'm not playing soccer anymore. Why do I keep making soccer content? Like, I want my content to be me. I don't want it to be somebody else.
Exactly. Cool. So then when you deal with stuff like comparison, whether it's running or like looking at other people's California stuff, it's like, I mean, actually, now that I think about it, I feel like for you guys in Cali, it's like almost worse because all the content you see is like aesthetic because it's California. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But
it's really aesthetic.
So how do you really like when you're on Instagram or when you're on TikTok or when you're even out there on the course, like running, it's like, how do you prevent yourself from comparing yourself to other people? And then when you catch yourself thinking those thoughts while you're scrolling, what do you do when you catch yourself?
I don't feel like there's any way to really prevent comparison. I just feel like how you handle it is the most important part. Like, of course, I can look at one of these like some of the girls who are running crazy times and I could be like, oh, like, I wish I was there right now. But then the thing that I do is I just remind myself that my process and what God has in store for me is just going to be different than what God has in store for them. And, God has blessed me in so many ways and he's blessed them in so many ways. But like I have no shortage of blessings. My blessings are just different. And that's okay. Like, because that's what God has given me. And I'm good with that.
God gives us different blessings. It's the parts of the body, right? It's like you can't function without.
Well, and like through that, like embracing your own purpose and just embracing where God has put you and where God is leading you. I feel like that also just translates to like, okay, I embrace who I am here. I'm going to embrace who I am on TikTok and show who I am on TikTok.
Yeah.
And people can either embrace that or they can't. That doesn't matter because I know that God embraces it. So that's okay.
And you're validated by Christ and not by other people because you don't need it. People validate you, cool.
Yeah.
But if they don't,
that's great. Yeah.
Because I'm sure you have experiences online where you're showering someone with praise and you're showering someone with advice. Mm-hmm. And if they're not giving it back to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. And it's like, you have to be so secure in the fact that God does approve of what you do. God does care about what you do, that you don't care about how other people respond when you do try to pursue them and you do try to be there for them, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So you did some stuff with chicken legs. So what was that like? And what were some highlights with that?
That was honestly so much fun. I loved making content for them.
Yeah.
I did used to clown on chicken legs. I will not lie. I used to.
Really?
Yeah, and then so my
Ooh.
mom got me a pair for this 4th of July 5K I was doing, and they had these little eagles on them and like little like pool floaties, I guess. I wore them. They are so comfortable.
Are they tough?
So comfortable. Yes. Yes, they're sick.
Wait. Okay, so now we get into the really dumb part where I try to appeal to your audience, so it's gonna be a massively epic fail. But do guys wear chicken legs?
Yeah, chicken legs. Uh-huh.
Yeah, really?
They do, but it's
What's
a little corny when guys wear them.
it's corny now. It's like uncool. So that means I should wear chicken legs to be super corny.
Yeah, and then you'll get views for that.
I'll get views for that. Oh, I should do it for the next meet I go to when I shoot it. Because
Yeah, for sure.
my style when I shoot it is sprinting across the field with the camera, which is not normal.
Okay, but if you had on chicken legs, you'd probably run faster.
Or I can like get some. Well, I can't talk to any guy friends that I have because they don't have chicken legs. So, what are your running hot takes?
Running hot takes?
Yeah, I think I know one of them.
What is it?
Spikes about socks.
Okay. I've spikes without socks if you're wearing Nikes. If you're wearing New Balance, you have to wear socks.
Why?
Because the foam, like the New Balance spike is thicker, and if you don't wear socks with them, they will reek. Like it's terrible, and you'll probably get blisters. Whereas Nikes are just different. Nikes, you don't need socks. Something about them.
Something you know what it is? Is it just aura or cosmetics or something?
No, it feels great. Makes you faster.
Does it really?
Yeah, I like it.
What do you think of the? Oh, sorry, I keep going.
You're good.
What did you think of the Nike tote bag this year? Because you were at nationals.
Okay, I have gotten many backpacks over my 4 years.
Because you're cracked at running.
Not quite, but I have tons of backpacks. So for me, I'm like, okay, I get a tote bag. Like, it's not the end of the world. It was stupid on Nike's part. It was dumb. Nobody wanted it. But
I disagree, but I'll tell you why in a second.
Okay, fine. But I'm not going to be greedy. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a tote bag. Cool. I can move on from that. I feel bad for the kids, the sophomores and the freshmen who qualified and they went and they don't have very many neat backpacks and they're stuck with that tote bag.
Okay, so one of my friends from Minnesota who went to the meet, they're dudes, which helps, but I think that it's a good like camping backpack.
So my friend said I should use it for the beach.
Well, we don't have beaches in Minnesota. Well, we do, but
well,
we get lakes. We got lakes though.
So camping or moving into college.
Yeah, for college, but
yeah,
you can get the college one. That's not. You can get it for free, not for free, but it's for cheap. Like it's not special. I'm going to use it twice a semester, and then forget about it. I guess camping is like once a year. Yeah.
So the only issue with it is that it's giant. Like it is huge. It's not like a tote bag size. Like it is giant.
Yeah.
That's why it's so weird.
It's crazy. How was NXN, by the way, for you?
It was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. Like the armory was sick. The whole race was awesome. You know, getting lapped by Blair and Avery. They were smoking it.
Yeah, that was fun to watch on the live stream.
Yeah, I didn't like getting lapped, but I knew it would happen. But the only thing I had actually only run for a few days leading up to it because I was out for 3-ish weeks before that because I have this SI joint issue going on. Okay. So yeah, but otherwise it was a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm curious about this angle of your thing too, because like you're going to NXN, you're going to NXN, and you're making content for it, but you're also going to the meet. So how do you balance like making stuff for the gram, for TikTok, but also trying to also live in the moment and really take in what you're going through at these big meets. And these
So
not the big meets, but you're in Flickman, New York, right?
Yeah. So I'll never I try, and when I'm making content, I do it as quickly as possible. I do not spend a lot of time on it, especially before races and things like that, just because I don't want to distract myself and I don't want to be on my phone too much. So if I do make content, let's say the day of a race, I probably spend max 20 minutes during doing it. And then while I'm on my runs and things like that, if it's a recovery run, I don't care to pull out my phone and film something really fast. But I usually don't stop in the middle of my runs to film something.
You just record it and roll with it.
Yeah, but if I'm doing I think you've probably seen on my page, I don't have any videos of me doing track workouts or things like that, really, just because I don't I'm focused on my workout or I'm focused on my run. Yeah. I don't know. I always try and prioritize my running and my mental headspace above getting content. Content's my last priority at those
Content
things.
is something that comes with running and comes as an about of running.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But for you, it's your content. It's the video of you getting chased by a guy on a bike or whatever happened in New York.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know
Wait. In New York?
Yeah.
Yes. No,
yeah.
he
it's
yelled
that
at
one
me.
You can what?
He yelled at me.
He yelled at you?
Yeah.
And that one, it's you can make that in 10 seconds.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I got chased by a bike and then I get yelled at by a guy on a bike, and then I can post that in 2 seconds and then that's content, right?
Exactly.
So it's you kind of optimize it so it's super easy to do. Yeah.
And then I'll video stuff just with my actual camera, not on TikTok, just so that then I can kind of just, when I do have free time and I'm, not doing anything, I can just put stuff together then. So it's not it's in the middle of when I'm supposed to be, doing something else more important.
What is tempo tummy?
That it's the worst. You've never had tempo tummy?
I've done tempos 2 or 3 miles, but I've never gotten
I don't know. It's a thing.
Tummy.
Your stomach just twists up in a knot after your run and just cramps really bad.
For because you said it takes hours and hours.
So sometimes I'll go home and I'll have breakfast or whatever. And then it's after that and it'll last for a few hours. And then other times it's right after and it'll last for 30 minutes. It really just depends.
My stomach hurts after running a tempo, but not for hours.
I don't know. Hours is it's happened once or twice, but
not normal.
The 30 minutes after is that's.
I think that's more in line with my experience. Do you not eat before tempo runs? I guess you don't eat.
No, I usually do. I'll have
You do.
I don't have I don't eat a full breakfast or anything.
Yeah, I hope not.
No.
Then it'll be.
I might have a gel or something like that, but nothing crazy.
Are you also not a bubbler person?
Is that the water stuff?
You know what bubbler is, right?
No. Wait, yeah, I do.
You better. You're the first runner I've met doesn't use bubbler.
What is
it not
bubbler?
A thing in California?
What is it? It's that
the energy drink. Yeah, that energy.
It's an energy drink?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was sparkling water.
It's I don't know. I'm a dude. I don't know what bubbler is. I'm trying to explain it to your audience.
I don't know what bubbler.
Okay. It's because I think maybe it's a Midwestern thing, is every person that goes to school in the Midwest uses it as an NAL thing.
Okay.
You know what, Alani, or what do you guys have nutrition drinks, I guess? What's the big sponsor?
Bloom and Alani.
Oh, I've never heard of that in my life. Okay.
Really?
I see the problem now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have different drinks. So what is Bloom?
Yes.
And what are the benefits of Bloom, I guess?
Bloom is a gut health energy drink, I guess. And it's supposed to have, I think it has greens in it. Don't quote me on that. But they started off as a greens brand and then they started making energy drinks as well. And those are good. I like those. Alani makes me feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. So
you're different. What is the difference between the drinks? I'm a dude. I know I've said like 10 times, but like all the drinks, like Bubbler, Alani, blah, 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 they all seem to be like similar to me. So like what makes you guys prefer a different drink over another drink?
I feel like it's just straight preference. Like, I think
Is it?
Celsius is disgusting. Alani is super duper sweet. Bloom isn't that sweet. It's really just preference and like, I guess, like how much, that weird caffeine taste?
Yeah.
It's like how much of that you want is kind
Okay.
of,
So they add like different caffeines, but
yeah.
it's not like different flavors like apple
Oh,
juice or
yeah.
cranberry juice.
Oh,
It's
no,
like,
there's tons of flavors.
okay, that makes sense. But there's different drinks too. So it's like, why would you
Yeah.
want a specific one versus it's just different? Are there like factions in like California? Are there like people that like bubbler or not bubbler? You don't know what that is. People that who like Bloom, people that like Alani, or is it like everyone that likes a certain thing in California, but everybody in a certain other place? Or is it like sections or I don't how does that
So
even work?
it's kind of interesting because I feel like our schools, like every school kind of has their own aesthetic.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
California.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the schools that are closer to the beach, like they're definitely super beachy, like kind of hobo, like hippie for sure. And then
Okay,
you
that's like the
come in like,
stereotypical movie California. That's
yes.
like the movie version of
Oh,
that.
totally. But
Know that?
then
Okay.
you come a little bit more inland to somewhere like Trabuco, and it's an entire mix. So you have like the whole
What?
clean girl aesthetic, you have the surfer aesthetic, you have the
What
more
is
like
like
theater.
granola?
Huh?
Are there granola? That's like NorCal. That's like North granola.
Yeah, north is granola. There
Oh,
aren't a
I'm
lot
getting
of
okay.
granola
I got
kids in
that
my
one. Okay, I
school.
got that one.
Yeah,
Cool. Okay, cool. We're
yeah,
living. Awesome.
yeah. And so it's like my school is definitely like a super duper like diverse mix of aesthetics, which is fun. So,
What are the aesthetics in
well,
California that are at your school?
like I said, there's like the Brandy
It's like the
girl
brandy
aesthetic,
one.
like Brandy Melville.
Yeah.
There's then that kind of goes with Lululemon, and then you have like
So you have
Aritzia,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
and then I don't know if you know like the Princess Polly and like Addicted.
Absolutely not.
Okay, well that's like its whole other niche kind of.
How much of California is like that stereotypical like movie hippie version
I
of
would say
life?
it's very much like that
Is it
for
like
sure.
that?
hmm
Do
It's
people?
we live in a bubble for sure.
I mean, you do live in a bubble because of your NXN system. I'll say that because
Yes.
you'll have you'll never know what it's like to run at an NXR meet after a season,
Okay,
which is heartbreaking.
that's true.
You go
But
state NXN.
yeah, but we have like I mean, I don't know where you live in Minnesota, but it's like
Twin Cities.
everything here is literally like 15 to 30 minutes away. Like
Yeah,
it's
same.
just everything's
Yeah,
here. Yeah.
you have one thing. We have something in common. Okay, is like I mean, you don't have a brandy. Fun fact: I went like the team that I was talking about earlier, the team that I work with. We went to
hmm
Chicago for a trip to compete at this meet. That's where I met Ellie Berida. Um,
hmm
and then they took me to it's just like so it's crazy because this team is mostly like girls for some reason. I don't know why.
hmm
And we went to Brandy. I went to Brandy for the first time, and I
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, it was me and this coach who was also a dude, and I was like with him, and I was like, what are we supposed to do here?
No,
Like,
I told my mom I was there. I was at Irvine Spectrum this weekend, which is like this outdoor mall. And there's a
yeah.
brandy there. And I went in and there's like these girls there and like their boyfriends are in there and some dads are in there. And I told
Oh,
my
the
mom, I
dads are
was
in it.
like,
Okay, that gives me hope.
yeah. I told my mom, I'm like, men should not be allowed in here
Why
because
not? Oh, yeah, I know
they're
why actually.
useless in there. They're
Because I
just
don't know,
useless in there.
but you aren't gonna believe this. I actually bought something at Brandy Melville. I bought two items of clothing.
Oh,
I bought two items of clothing. I bought this jacket. This fits me.
Okay.
because I'm 5'4". So the jacket fit me.
Okay.
And then I bought a hat that said Chicago on it. And I wear it to every meet because
Well,
I love that hat. It's
perfect.
my favorite hat. So
Perfect.
I think men can be
I'll
allowed
take
to
it
wear
back
them,
then. I
but
take it back.
I think we should probably cordon them off to a specific size brand.
Yes.
I
The
think we should
women
like
get
split
priority.
up. I think because it's more like you have more options, I think, as a woman. I think.
Definitely. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think that's not a controversial statement. So
No.
then I come back from Brandy. I'm like, what did I just look at? Like, what did I just do? And people are spending like $100 there. So it's like they're all carrying their bags, and I'm like, I'm always carrying a bag, and I feel like a weirdo because I'm with like it's like 10 girls. And then so then I come back to school in college. So I'm back in Minnesota, and I do something very similar to this where I'm telling them about going to Brandy, and I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I just saw stuff and I'm scared now.
Hmm.
Um, and then I say, oh, I was, checking out, and then the workers, they're really nice. They told me like they asked me about different things, and then I got involved in like a 1v25 debate in my all girls advertising class about the fact that apparently Brandy people aren't the nicest.
No, they're not.
Apparently the Chicago ones, they were super awesome though.
But I don't feel like they're mean. They're not mean. I feel like it's actually really nice because
Yeah.
nobody is in there like bugging you while you're shopping. But if you need help or you need something, like they will help you.
I think they're
So
just average workers. I don't think there's too much of a, you
no,
know, it's
no.
like, it's just normal, like
If I
work.
had to work there and I had to fold all those clothes 50 times a day, I
Right.
probably might not be in the best mood either. So I don't, you know.
If I had to work there, I'd probably question my existence because I'm working at Brandy.
Yeah.
But it's a different
Probably.
situation. Okay. So have you had prom yet this year?
Hmm?
Have you had prom?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
So for prom, what's the move for when you're in the dance circle? What's the plan?
Oh, there's so many to choose from.
Are there?
Oh, yeah. Probably just running in slow motion and getting laughed at. No,
You
no,
so
no.
you'd hit the dynamic warm up
Yep,
in prom because I
yep.
have actually done that before. I'm not even, and it's
Oof.
like it's something. And then I hit the worm too.
Okay, see, like that's
So the
doable.
worm, the worm kind of, and you've hit the worm before. I saw that video.
Hit the worm.
Did you do prom last year?
No, I didn't. I had a race.
Oh, that's an acceptable reason.
Yes.
Um, but if you ever have, where is your prom?
It's at the aquarium this year.
That's a sick. Wait, you get to dance with a fish? I
Yeah.
might have been, at that point. I'm just looking at the fish. Are there like sharks and stuff?
I don't know. I don't know what parts they'll have closed off because they'll probably close off a lot
Oh.
of it, I think. So I don't know.
But the point I'm making is that if you're doing the worm,
The worm.
it's like the floor is probably like bad because your knees have to smack the floor every time.
Oh, yeah.
Like hitting the worm on the turf, like I did at the track meet, is like chill, but like hitting it on the prom surface is like bad.
I just have to skip that one.
Yeah. Plus, you're wearing like heels too, aren't you? Or whatever. What do you guys wear to prom anyway?
Yeah, people wear heels. Sometimes
California
they switch into
heels.
sneakers. Just depends.
But you have to wear sneakers because you can't do the dynamic warm up in heels because then you get shin splints.
That's a good point. See, this is helpful.
So back to like high school running, and this is I guess more stuff that I just look at your content. I think a lot of your stuff really tries to speak to people. So I just want to use this part of the segment to like really take the stuff that you posted and just put it out there. So how do you not hate long runs?
I love I don't know. I love long runs.
Because you made a video about like learning to love it because it seemed like it was a bit of a process for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was when I was playing soccer. So a lot of my long runs were on days where I'd already played a soccer game that morning or that afternoon, and then I would have to run after. So then I just like was like, ugh, like I don't want to go run. But now when I like wake up in the morning and I have a long run, I'm just like so excited because it's just so much fun. Like, I don't know, they're such like a big part of your training week that like they're just fun to like look forward to, I guess. And I like like the routes that we have for our long runs are super pretty, so that's always fun.
I bet they are. What are your routes?
So there's one that like pretty much everybody in South Orange County goes to. It's Back Bay. It's like this giant like 11-mile loop, and it's like all like it's right by the beach, and it's just sick. Like it's a super cool route. So we usually do that one.
So like with that, like you can just kind of look around and kind of forget you're running because you're close.
Yeah, and it's all pavement. It's relatively flat, so it's like it's just like the best long run spot.
Yeah. What are some general tips you have for someone to really enjoy, like for your younger audience, you might just be starting out in high school. Like, what would you say you would say to them that are just starting it out? And like, what are some tips to like live in the moment and enjoy high school running?
I would say just kind of like embrace every race as it comes and like don't get too far ahead of yourself to where you forget to just focus on what's like really happening to you in the moment. Like I feel like high school can be really stressful and it's so easy to get overwhelmed, but like when you kind of just pluck yourself out of that and you look at kind of the bigger picture of things and you're kind of like, okay, like I'm going to be okay. This is all just like, it's all just a process. And I feel like just reminding yourself that everything's a process and that you don't have to like, you don't have to be your best self right now because you can always like, kind of what I'm trying to say is that you're never going to reach your best self because like there's always going to be something to improve on. And once you embrace that fact that like everything's a learning moment and everything, there's always something to improve on, I feel like that's when you're like, okay, like I'm just improving. I'm better. I'm 1% better every day.
Well, like you said
I
earlier,
don't know
there's
if
a
that made
bigger
sense.
fish because no,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense. Because like you said, there's always a bigger fish. And you mentioned it earlier in the context of, oh, like there's a person you're running as a person like faster than you. But I think the other application of that is there's always faster time. There's always more that you can do.
Yeah.
It's running such a time-based sport where the goal is to drop time. So it's like if you're always chasing a time, you're always chasing something and you get there and it's like, oh, let's go to this time. We broke 220, let's go for 215. It's like you can't ever be satisfied if you're always stuck in that mindset.
I feel like it's that perfect balance of being satisfied with how you are performing when you're PRing and when you are, improving, like taking it in and being satisfied and being proud of yourself, and then having that moment and appreciating where you're at, and then knowing that, okay, I can appreciate this moment because I know that in the next moment, it's time to get back to work and it's time to keep on pushing towards that next goal. And you can have both mindsets simultaneously. People try and say and like, oh, you just always have to be working towards, being better and better and better. Well, part of that is also recognizing how far that you've come and using that as fuel to help propel you forward into those even better times.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Here's a harder one because we're very early in our careers. But what tips did you have, would you say, that you're going to apply coming into college and past college for just enjoying running long term past today? Like, how are you going to keep improving on the mindset that you have right now?
I think that just really focusing on my faith and, just really focusing on the fact that like I am put exactly where I am by God, by, my creator. And there's so much peace in that and in knowing just that like, okay, I have a greater purpose. God has put me here and I'm just going to make the best of everything that is along this path that he has made for me. And I feel like taking that mindset into college, I feel like everything good stems off of embracing what God has for you. Like there's just no better mindset than just accepting what God has gifted you and blessed you with. So sorry, I keep snapping this thing.
Are you a fidgeter?
Not really, but today I am.
I'm a huge fidgeter. What even is that? Is that like
It's a glow stick.
Did you have it for like a race or something?
I don't know. It's just on my mom's desk. So.
Oh, Another girly question. What's the strat for hairstyles for like the
Ooh.
bows and stuff? Let's give us the
Ooh.
rundown.
All right. You can never go wrong with braids, Dutch braids,
Okay.
or a slick back. And you have to
What's a
have
slick
glitter.
back?
Just slicked back.
Oh, you just like do that.
Yeah, it's super slick back, ponytail or bun. And then my favorite new thing to add is the glitter gel.
Glitter
So
just
it's like
the glitter to stick on your face.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just throw
Yeah.
glitter on your face and expect it to stick. You need to
No,
actually like
it's a gel and it has the big chunks of glitter and you can use it to like, put it in your hair, put it on your face. It's fun.
what's the designs? What do you do when like while you aren't running to fill your cup? See what I did there?
I
That's
really like
terrible.
to spend time with my mom. I like to walk my dogs. I love going to the beach, like really just
Yeah.
anything active and being outside. And even if I am tired from like running or school or stuff like that, like I still just love to be outside and to be active as much as possible. And I love to read. So that's fun.
What are you reading right now?
I just finished Animal Farm. And
okay.
so that one was good. And then before that, I had read like some of these books I'm required to read, and then other ones I'm not. But I had to read 1984.
So then that you progress, you naturally progressed in Animal Farm then.
Yeah. So
are you into what's your favorite genre?
I've honestly switched a lot. I do like fiction books, like just those random like adventure mystery books are fun. I've read some of Anne Rule's books that are about like serial killers and things like that, which those are okay. They're interesting, but they do get boring pretty quick. But then I do really like science fiction is really cool.
Okay. Just chill. Okay.
Yeah.
What about do you ever read like mindset, like writing books?
Yes. So I read um I, I read it's called How Bad Do You Want It?
Okay.
So I've read that
Who's
one.
that by?
Who is that by? I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Or not.
You would know.
Fine.
Like if you looked it up, you'd see it.
I probably would
I've
know.
read David Goggins' books.
Oh,
I read Sally McRae, the ultra runner. I read her book. So I try to read. Oh, I like to read those like memoirs of like really high caliber athletes. Those are cool.
What's your favorite memoir?
I like Sally McRae's. It was good. Yeah. Cool. And David Goggins. They were both really good.
They're both good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
what does it mean for you to really control your controllables? And I think we kind of discussed this a little bit earlier. Actually, you answered this question already. How about perspective? Actually, you answered that question too. How do you handle, because you mentioned, and this is something that I think, I've found that a lot of people that I, know from track do a lot. I think you've actually figured out a way to do this. But how do you stop kind of obsessing over the small things when it comes to running, like the workouts, like the splits, the like all the little, like obviously that's important to look at and be intentional about those things. Mm-hmm. But how do you stop obsessing over them and stop being like, if I don't run a 62 on this lap, I'm going to make state or something like that and just trust in God's plan?
That's the hardest, like that is one of the hardest parts, especially for me, because I feel like I am a little bit OCD when it comes to my training. And like, I definitely want to feel like the work that I've put in will translate to the times that I want to run. So I am very like my mindset's a bit numerical in that way. And I'm trying to fix that. So I think that instead of focusing so much on time, I've started to focus more on effort and just like making sure, like, am I giving this rep all that I have? Am I like really, it's runners. I feel like it's easy to convince yourself that you're giving yourself all that you have and to brush it off and be like, oh yeah, like I gave 100%. But then like something I've been really working on is like being completely honest with myself. Like, did I actually give 100%? Like, did I actually show up and do that? So I think instead of just focusing so much on what the outcome is. Instead, just being really honest with myself and the effort that I'm putting in, that has helped shift my mindset away from obsessing over those little things. Because if I'm at 100% in my effort, then I'm going to be 100% in those things naturally.
But then are there also times where you're also obsessed over the amount of effort you put in, or are you just so consistent in giving it 100% that doesn't happen yet?
So I wouldn't say obsessed with the effort that I'm putting in. It's more just like holding myself accountable.
Okay. Yeah.
And just staying accountable and knowing that, like, okay, I show up, I know the effort that I'm giving. And there's no like debate about like what effort I'm going to give at practice. Like if I'm only 70%, that day, I know I'm giving 100% of that 70%. Like there's just no debate. I've kind of been on both sides of the spectrum where I've given myself no grace, and I don't feel like I was a happy person, and I don't feel like I was treating others how I should be treating them, because I was just so focused on everything being perfect for myself.
Right.
And I feel like shifting away from that has just really just improved my life in so many ways, and my relationships and everything.
I think it spills over too when you learn how to view yourself in a good way.
Yeah.
Too high.
Well, if like something a coach told me, he said that, if everybody if everybody would give a little bit more, nobody would have to take so much.
Interesting.
And so that's like kind of something that I've remembered since he said that. It's just like, if I give more, like someone else is going to give, and the change just continues. And that's, that's important for everyone. And then everybody benefits.
Yeah. Cool. So going off that a little bit, I made my post today, and I really ironed when I was making my Hamlin post. I was super hammering on this idea of community, and I think, and the big thing I want to convey was like when you isolate yourself, that's when you begin to doubt yourself. So it's like when you're in that chain of doubting yourself and isolating yourself, how do you kick yourself back into form and still stick with the people that you love on your team, even when you aren't doing well individually and you're tempted to be, focused on that no grace, I suck, I need to be perfect mindset.
I don't like, it's definitely not perfect. It's not like a perfect process. It's just like every day you're just constantly reminding yourself that like everything's okay. Everything's okay. And it just it kind of just really ties into the effort thing that we just talked about, where like if I know that I'm giving 100% of what I have, and that, I'm keeping the things in my life balanced and I'm keeping my priorities balanced, then I really do have nothing to worry about, and I am going to be okay. Like everything's going to work out.
Yeah. It's awesome. So, how about like when you're going through like highs and lows in your career, whether it's you qualify for a meet, or on the flip side, you don't do as well as you want to do. How do you stay grounded and keep that accurate view of yourself despite the very much highs and lows that come with the sport?
I just feel like it's just that mindset of like whatever happens on the track, on the course, it's just really just knowing that like I know I'm going to be consistent. I know that regardless of outcome, like that doesn't change the process. That doesn't change my work ethic. It just makes me want to work harder so that I don't feel that regret and that like, oh, crap, I didn't qualify, I didn't perform well. It just is kind of like, okay, mental reset. What do I need to change? What maybe was lacking? What did I do well? And then just moving forward with that new plan that is just, again, just building on that consistency of like adapting and overcoming.
Yeah, that makes sense. How about like just embracing the hard parts about running, whether it's like isolated, whether it's a bad workout, or it's this prolonged period of not doing as well as you want? How do you learn to still love sport despite going through that?
I feel like that kind of like, that's another thing that I really love about running is I feel like it really does mirror your relationship with God, because I feel like
Yeah.
everybody goes through periods where maybe they doubt God and they doubt what he's doing in their lives. And I feel like people in the same way doubt how they're doing in their running and, what's happening in their running life. And I feel like God is always there. Running is always there. Like, it's just like my faith has really just helped me to know that ups and downs are okay and that it doesn't determine who I am.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
just because I
exactly.
doubt God one day doesn't mean that he's not there for me. Just because I
Yeah.
doubt how I perform one day doesn't mean that I'm not a good athlete. Like, it's that
Mm.
same mindset.
How do you think that God and running are kind of one and the same? And how has that come about in your life?
I feel like running is just one of those sports where you have to be really consistent if you want to be good. And I think faith
Yeah.
is the same thing. You have to constantly work on your faith. You don't randomly wake up one day and say, okay, I believe in God. You know, my everything's answered. That's just it. You have to continually read your Bible, pray to God. Like, as each kind of obstacle comes your way, you lean into your faith and you lean on to God and you take on that obstacle with him. Running's kind of the same thing. You're running, you have a bad race, it's an obstacle. Okay, well, I'm leaning on to my work ethic, I'm leaning on to my consistency, and I'm going to get over that obstacle. And it takes a everyday kind of devotion to succeed in both of them.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. Yeah. Yeah. So then coming into like, faith and just like making content in general, how do you make sure that you're not aligning your content to like what culture says content should be and instead align your stuff with like what the truth is and like what you want and how to glorify God in your life?
I think that I honestly need to be posting about God more. That's something that, like, that's something I need to work on for sure, is like sharing my faith more, because I feel like even though my platform isn't, ginormous, I feel like it's big enough to where I need to be posting about God more, because I feel like I could reach a lot of people that way. And that doesn't mean they have to follow me. It just is like, okay, they could swipe and see it. And it's like you've introduced God into their lives, kind of.
Planting the
So,
seed.
yes. And
Yeah.
so that's something I do need to work on. But I think it's just like being, like, I'm not going to post something that contradicts my faith.
Right.
I'm never going to, post or comment or like I won't like a
And
post if it goes against my belief in the Lord. I will not like it.
yeah.
I will scroll. I will click not interested. Like, if it like I said, like, if it challenges my faith, then like I don't like it.
We're both pretty no brainer on that one. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
read, what does the Bible say? I mean, obviously, we're human, we're not going to be perfect, but like
Of course
we
not. No.
try our best to really not engage in that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of where, like you said, again, like reading the Bible comes into play, like being
Yeah.
consistent and actually knowing and being fed consistently the word of God.
Yes.
Speaking of feeding yourself, like how, how do your personal devotions look like? How do you spend time with the Lord while balancing, not just running, but also contenting and all the other stuff that you do during
So
the week?
I have honest, like, in the morning I'll get up and I'll usually bike for a little bit. And
Yeah.
so my Bible is sitting right next to my Peloton. So I'll usually read it while I'm riding the bike. And then I also just like I like to journal just my prayers and things like that. Kind of, I feel like most people do that. And
Yeah.
then I have the Bible app on my phone, so like I make sure that I read the verse of the day every day, and I try to just kind of take a minute and apply that verse to whatever is going on in my life, and just really like kind of meditate on it and think about it. Because
Yeah.
even if you're just thinking about God for, a minute, and you're talking to him for a minute, like, that's still building your relationship with him,
Yeah.
so I think that's important.
It's like eating a Rice Krispie bar. Like it's giving you some degree
exactly. Like
of energy.
you're reaping something from it. So
Yeah, you're getting something.
yeah.
Now you need more than one Rice Krispie bar.
Then you're reaping
But,
a lot of glycogen. It's going to come from that.
Yeah. Oh, I will say, like, I don't think you need to work your way to heaven either, but I think you do because of your love for God. You do because of gratitude. You do because He's there for you. Like it's like if I had a bag of Starburst right here, which I do, like I better have all the Starburst, right? Then I'm just wasting the, like it says, you can't sacrifice the gift,
Yeah, you have to be consistent with him like he's consistent with everyone.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like it's a relationship.
Yes.
Really. I mean, yeah. So when you've gone to that, like what is your strategy when you get convicted of running or putting content above Jesus for you? And like how do you recompensate if you've done that in the past?
So I've definitely just tried to, for running a special content, I don't feel like I've ever really like put content before God or anything, just because like that's a no-brainer. But with running for sure, it's just I've kind of just shifted my mindset from like making running my only priority, and I've just shifted it into like this is what God has gifted me the ability to do, and like every time that I get out there to run, it's an opportunity to glorify him and to be close to him. Because like I'll even pray during my runs, and that's another reason why like I like the morning runs and things like that, because it's like I feel like when you're running while the sun is rising, like I just feel so close to God in those moments, which it sounds a little cheesy,
No,
but
I get
like,
it. I get it. I feel the same way. Yeah.
Like it just makes me feel really close to God in that time.
I mean, I'm more of a sunset guy because it's like not that it's colder. For you can't do the sunset though because it's like 80 degrees every time.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's so bad. Yeah.
So yeah. Although back to what we were talking about with the Bible app and just this verse, or it doesn't have to be the Bible app at all. But I know you're going through a little bit of a rough patch in your running career right now because you're not currently running. So like, what have been some verses or what have been some affirmations from God that have come into you that have made sure to put your identity in Him, while you're in this break period that you don't really want to be in? Because I know what it feels like to not run during an injury, and it sucks a lot.
It does.
So, yeah.
I think it's just remembering that, like, not comparing myself to others and just remembering that, like, this is my process and this is the process God has for me. And I feel like also not getting too, like, freaked out about not being able to run and, like, train on the track and just being like, okay, well, I can do all things through God who strengthens me, of course, that one. But then also like Hebrews 12:1 is my favorite verse because it's like run the race that God has set before you. So that's my favorite verse.
I love that one. Yeah. So I think for you, I mean, that's like the injury. It's like there for a reason. Like God is going to give you those trials. It's like we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God and for those who are called according to His purpose. So it's like you have that because God is shaping you in a certain way that you might not know yet, but
exactly.
And I'm sure you've probably had similar experiences with injuries. You've probably gone through this. Have you? Or no? Maybe you haven't.
Not quite the same. I've never, knock on wood, I've never had like a stress fracture or anything that like I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just this SI joint issue that was on my right side and now it's on my left.
Oh,
and it's just like, it's very painful, but like, that's another thing about perspective. Like, it's super painful, but it's like, okay, well, I can cross train, I can walk. It's not like, I'm handicapped. So life's not that bad.
Sorry, I was laughing because I was thinking, because tempo tummy, like it lasts for a few hours, then it's gone. So it's like, it's not.
Yeah, forever. I would rather have tempo tummy. So that's okay.
That's all right. Yeah. And I think you mentioned too in one of your posts that like you really used the times when you're away from running, whether it's injury or whether it's you're on break because you're 2-week break. I don't know how long you guys do the thing for, but
Mm-hmm.
2-week break. Like you really mentioned that you use that time to get closer to God and really
Mm-hmm.
look in it, like open in Scripture, which is
Yeah.
the best thing you could possibly do. Like let's be honest, right? So
Yeah.
it's super cool that you're doing that. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done with the main part. So we're down to the 4 questions I always ask every guest. So the first one is, how do you take care of your mental health outside of running?
How do I take care of it?
Yeah, mental health. Yeah,
Just looking at things we talked about, like
yeah.
hanging out, like going to the beach. I love to go to the beach. That's probably like the biggest thing. Like if I feel
Shocker.
stressed, yeah, right, California. But like that's the best, just to relax. I love to hike, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I love. Yesterday I went hiking and to find salamanders, or they're newts, but
Oh, I saw that.
yeah,
The newts.
yeah,
That's tough.
yeah.
That I
That
can
was
that I can get into. That is something I can do.
yeah, that was
So you
fun.
just how do you do that? You just go into the woods and you try to just what's a strat?
Well, so they usually come out when it's been like raining. So
Okay.
it rained a little bit the other night, and I was like, okay, like they're totally gonna be out. We saw one. There was
Is that
one.
good?
No. But I was like, okay, well, that's all I needed to see was one. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Perspective.
fun.
You saw one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. What's your why? And then what motivates you to run on the hard days?
Mm, I think it's just again that consistency. Like there's no debate. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, sometimes I don't want to run, sometimes I don't want to cross train. Like that's just part of it. You still have to show up for yourself, and you have to know that you're working and you're grinding for that bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, and again, another one of those repeat ones. But what advice would you like to give to runners just starting out in the sport?
Embrace it. Like running is what you make of it. You know, if you're going to do it to punish yourself, then yeah, you're going to be miserable. If you're doing it because you love it, then like you're going to reap so much from the sport, like both individually, you're going to meet so many amazing people. Like running really is just the best community ever. Like it's the best by far.
And attest to that. Yeah. I have not met a single like mean person running in it.
Me either. So yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
The way that you guys treat your competitors is so inspiring. And I say this so much, but like the kids and the community see that and I know they're inspired. I know they have such great role models.
Totally.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Totally.
What legacy would you like to leave behind on the California running community?
Just to enjoy it and to not be discouraged, and to just remember that, like, you know, running is great. Like, don't get so distracted by the times, by the obstacles and the failures. Like, just let it fuel you and just learn from it. And I feel like once you realize that, like, failing is just part of it, like, you open up so many doors for yourself because you're no longer afraid to fail. And that's how you really just reach that max potential, in my opinion, is just not being afraid to fail.
Cool.
Yes, thank you.
The way that you've inspired just everybody around you is just so evident, and the joy you have for running and for Christ is just super inspiring, even to some random 20-year-old like me. And I know it's not quite the target audience, but I do believe that you have made such a splash on just young girls and young women who just, and also like I see it too. Like you respond to like all the comments of people, and a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people would just.
I feel like it's so messed up when people don't respond, because it's like, then why are you posting? Why are you trying to connect with people if you're not going to connect with them? So yeah, I do try to respond.
Because it must take a lot. I mean, maybe it takes it takes 2 seconds, but it's something that you always have to think of that to do. And it's like, I guess you don't, because you're awesome, but like you always got to be.
Well, thank you. But I try. I try to respond to them.
No, it's super cool. Skylar, it's been such an honor to have you on. Wow, another banger of an episode. I really like talking how Skylar just relates the gospel to everything. Every struggle that she faces, she throws the gospel at it, right? You know, comparison, gospel, failure, gospel, doubt, gospel. Every time, like I said, she goes through something, she ties it back to the gospel, which is super cool and just shows God's work in her heart. I really also liked hearing about her approach to content as a thing that comes with her life and isn't her whole life. and how she's learned to view running in the same way. Finally, I really love just her humility and her willingness to grow, both as a runner and a person, and how she invites her community to do that through being vulnerable with her community. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you can take away something from our time together. I encourage you guys to share this episode to a friend who would really benefit from this episode. I'm Nate Unger, and this was Skylar Watts, Under the Radar. Now, go be the best version of yourself.